Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing well today. This is Kathy. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to have a two-part tutorial. It might be a three-part, but I'm going to try to do a two-part tutorial on how to make these mini journals in a box. Now, I haven't finished mine yet, but I wanted to get started. I didn't want to have to make two whole sets of them. So I'm going to take you with me as I go. And what it is, it's going to be a box. It's not going to be decorated a Christmas box. This just happens to be a Christmas box. And then inside the box will be 6 mini journals that we'll make. I thought this would make such a lovely gift to have. I'm hoping to make the box look something like this so that it's not holiday at all, but it can be something very special and used year-round. So let me show you what I did. First of all, our materials. You're going to need 6 pieces of cardstock cut to 8.5 by 3 7/8. Make sure you're seeing this. And I'm just using this kind of cardstock. You can use printed if you'd like. It's going to serve as the base for the cover of the journals. You're going to need 30 pieces of journaling paper that measure 8.5 by 11, and they're going to be cut down to 8 by 3 5/8. So 30 pieces will be the paper for all of the 6 journals. We'll be using 5 pieces in each journal cut down, and you'll see that gives us about 10 to 12 pieces in a journal, plus any additional pieces you want to add, for example, tracing paper or ledger paper, etc. Then you're going to need a box. Now, I got my box at Dollar Tree for $1, and it's 4 by 4 by 4. Then in our next video, you'll need something to decorate your box. I simply, on something like this, I used cardstock that I embossed, and then I used different pastes and waxes. I used some dyes. So we'll get to that later. And then you'll need glue, some binding tools to bind your mini journals, some ribbon, paper trimmer, and a hole punch. Okay, so today what we're going to do, we're simply going to put together the journals that go in the box. Okay, so let's get started with that. First, I have to cut 6 pieces of cardstock, 8.5 by 3 7/8. Okay. And since I'm cutting it 8.5, I may as well cut it this way, because then I can get 3 out of each piece of paper. So 8.5, we're going to do the 3 7/8 first. Right there. And there, can get 2 out of each. And then we're going to cut this down to, well, it's already 8.5, right? Should already be 8.5. Yes. So we're going to need 4 more of those. So we're going to use, we can get 2 out of each piece. So we're going to need a total of 3 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. If you're using the larger cardstock, the 12 by 12, then you'll be able to get 3 out of each piece. So here we're doing 3 7/8. We can save these for pockets for the journals. And these are already 8 1/2. So let's put the cutter aside for a moment. And I didn't ask you to have a scoreboard. You are going to need a scoreboard. And you're going to score your pieces on the vertical side, the 8 1/2 inch side, at 4 inches. And then simply turn it the other way so you can get 4 inches. And what you're going for is you're going for a 1/2 inch spine. So that when you're done, you have something that looks like this. It's going to be 4 inches long with a 1/2 inch spine. And 4. We can actually keep it right in and do this at 4 1/2 if I could see it. There we go. So let's do that. Let's keep it in and do it at 4 and 4 1/2. 4 and 4 1/2. And 4, 4 1/2. And last but not least, 4 and 4 1/2. And let's crease those. If you've never made mini journals, they're really fun to make. And one more. And these will fit right inside your box. Just like that. Now you might choose that you would like to have less journals. Maybe you want to have 4 journals and have each journal represent a season of the year. Then you just simply make the journals with a larger spine. Okay, so just like that. Next, what we're going to do is cut our journal paper. And let's see what I said. We need about 30 pieces, and that's going to be cut to 8 by 3 5/8. I'm going to do 5 at a time, 3, 4, 5. The 5 at a time give me enough for each journal. We're going to cut it down to 8 by 3 5/8. So let's cut this side first down to 8. Now let's cut this side 3 5/8. 3 5/8 is the little blip before the 3 3/4. So that's 1. Two. And it actually gives me one that's just under, I believe, 3 5/8. Let's see. Oh no, it's actually a little over. Let's go ahead and cut this. This actually gives me some for the next journal. So all we're going to do is fold these in half. Make sure that they're nice and crispy, that the fold is crisp. And you could take them apart, but I'm not going to. You want to check and make sure they're going to fit inside your journal. Just like this. That looks good. Now, I don't mind this hanging over a little bit. When these are full, you know, I might want to trim them later. But I think they're just perfect. So we're going to do that and stick that in there, stick this in here, and keep cutting. So I'm going to take 5 more sheets. And again, I'm going to cut off at 8 inches. So we're cutting off at 1/2 inch. And now we're cutting it at 3 5/8. One, two. That's my little puppy. He's annoyed because I'm not paying attention to him. And 3. So I have this for the next journal. I'm just going to go ahead and keep cutting. Oops, I'm going to cut off the 1/2 inch. And then 3 5/8. And 5/8. That's 1. Okay. And I have about 5 sheets left. Oops, I want to cut off the 1/2 inch. Forgot what I was doing for a minute. And then 3 5/8. And again. And again. 3 5/8. Okie doke. So, let's see what we have here. I think I should have enough, but let's make sure. I want to crease it really well. Just like that. And again. So this is pretty simple to make. It's just the decorating, because you're doing 6 mini journals and a box, that's going to take a little bit of time. And I'm going to go back and add some additional tracing paper, some tea-dyed paper if I have it. I have to make some more. Whoops. There we go. So that's the base for this journal. Next, what I'm going to do is start covering the box. Like, oh, here's the lid. I'm looking all over. I'm going to take the journals out because we're going to work on the journals later. So what I've done is I've cut out the materials for the box. The first thing I want to do is cover the inside of the box. So let's see what I've got here. What I did was took a piece of material, and this was from a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and it's 4 by 4 and 4. I scored it at the 4-inch line and the 8-inch line. That's going in there. And then I'm going to glue it before I do anything else. Actually, let me take my other glue. Oh no, this is good. Whoop. And fingers are the best. Actually, they're not, but I don't have a brush. Okay, I'm gonna plop this down inside the box. And you could do this with, whoops, any kind of material. Be pretty with regular fabric, wouldn't it? Okay, and then 2 side pieces. Make sure it's pushed down all the way. I've done this also using faux leather. It's kind of nice. And quite often it's on sale at Cricket. I do the suede kind. But I kind of like this. This is a specialty paper I got from Hobby Lobby. It kind of has a linen look. It's kind of nice. Okay, that's down in there. The next thing I want to do is I want to ink these edges before I go any further. So let me get my ink out. Whoop. This is another box lid that I made. I thought it was so pretty. We're going to make something a little simpler today. Okay, and this is Black Soot Distress Ink. And I'm simply taking it around the edges. And what I see is it's not taking well because this is a kind of a glossy box. But as long as it gets most of the edging off, I'm happy. Okay, that'll do it. Next, what I want to do is I'm going to do the box lid. And for the box lid, I have a piece that goes in the bottom of the lid. So I'm going to put the glue right in the lid. Set this in. It's 4 by 4. Same colors. And then I have a piece, I think this is the piece that goes around it. And I'm going to glue that. Ooh, a lot of glue came out. And then I think I have a piece that can go here. Just like that. Okay. And again, I want to just take the edge off, tone down the white that's on the edge. I'm not worried about covering it completely. I just don't want it to stand out so much. If I wanted to cover completely, I would have used paint. Okay. Next, we're going to go back to the box. Oh, no, let's finish the lid here. Let's see what I was doing with the lid. First, I need an edging to go around the lid. Actually, I'm going to do this first. I have this cut out, and I'm going to glue this to the top. Don't worry about the color. We're going to really change the color using our luster wax. But we're going to put this down. And I'm going to trim off the excess. with my scissors. Just like that. And then this is going around the outside edge. Whoa, this glue is very drippy. Very drippy today. How dare it? Let me get a wet wipe. But you do want to make sure it sticks down really well. And I have another piece. I'm going to go right over it. I'm going to cut it on this side. Just like that. And I think I'll cut it at the very edge on this side. Okay, let's put some ink on here. Oops. This was the most tedious part of this project, is covering the box. And you'll notice I'm pushing this up as close to the top as I can, so that if it's uneven, that the bottom shows, not the top. Pardon me. And don't worry about fingerprints all over it. We're going to cover that up. We're going to make it look really cool. But I'm going to go back in, and again, just take the edge off of this. You can go along the edge and do that. Okay. I'm going to set that aside for a moment. And now we're going to do the outside of the box. And I have this cut out. I embossed some of this black paper, and I'm actually going to put this on first. Just like that. And now we're going to put on the entire piece. Whoa! That ink is flying. Oh, you know why? Because I just got a new bottle and I filled this up. That's why it's so liquidy. And now we're gonna go here. And we want to make sure that it's stuck down really well all the way around. Now, one of the trickiest parts is to make sure that the lid still fits on. And I'm going to wait until it's totally dry to make sure. Really not much you can do. What I do is kind of stretch it out a little bit before it dries. And now I'm going to ink these edges as well. Now, I did not cover the bottom, but I should have. Let me see if I have a piece. I don't, but I would recommend covering the bottom. So let me go ahead and do that. Cut off a 4-inch piece. Just so it looks prettier. Oops, that's be on this side. And make sure your paper is really glued well. This is not. So I'm going to go back in and fix it. Okay. Now comes the fun part. We're going to start with the lid, and I'm going to take out a, I thought I had a glove. Yes. I'm going to use a glove because the wax, this really gets messy. And what I use is these metallic luster waxes. I get these at Amazon. You can also sometimes find them at Michael's. I'm using champagne ice, espresso, brass, polished coral, and I should also have somewhere, I should have a purple. Probably the one that fell on the floor earlier. Yep, let me get it. And a majestic purple. And I'm going to cover these. I also have some other colors. I have some copper. I have some stencil paste. This is Bow Bunny. I got this at Tuesday Morning. This comes out almost like a silver. It's really pretty. Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way. let's get started. Let's see what color base do I want. I'm going to go for this champagne ice as the base. And what this does, since even though my color paper is not really any color, this just brings out the embossing that I did to the paper. And it really is beautiful. It almost transforms it. Okay, and with the espresso, I'm going to go over the edges here. This had almost a built-in I want it to look just slightly colored. And I go over the edges of the box that I couldn't cover with ink. So this really takes care of that. You can still see the texture underneath, which is what I like. Kind of a basket weave texture. Go over the green. Okay, I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to add a little bit of this. Well, let me try this first. Yeah, that didn't show up at all. Let me try a little bit of this brass. And that's just, this brass looks almost like gold on it. Okay, now I'm going to take ever so slightly a little bit of this purple on parts of it, on the flowers. I think there's another flower up here. Sorry about that, my dog again. And over here. That's my other poochie. They're upset that I'm talking and I'm not talking to them. I'm gonna leave that just like that for now. And then what I'm going to do is I have some pieces I want to add on the top. So I'm going to color this first. I'm going to color it with this brass. Make sure it's on the edges. And I'm going to glue this down here. Actually, I'm going to glue it like this. Then I have a piece that we will color once I get it on here. And when you're doing this wax, it really looks pretty on black paper. And next, I'm going to add this. Let me see what color first. I'm going to go for this. It's going to be covered up anyway. You're not going to be able to see it, but I still like it to be pretty. And we'll glue this. Just like that. And then I'm going to add, whoops, this was not correct. Sorry guys. I have to take this up and do it like this because my image was going in one direction. It couldn't be at a diagonal. So let me go back, close this up. And this can be glued right on. Just like that. And I'm going to go with this champagne color. And this is going to reveal a pretty bird cage with a bird. And let me add some of this brass for the bird cage. Just like that. And I'm also going to go around the edges with it. Just ever so slightly. And let's pull the purple in from the box and we'll put the purple on the bird. Well, I'm gonna have to take that off. Use my finger. Just like that. I think it needs just a little something around the edge. I think that's this. Just like that. And that is our box top. Again, we have to make sure it fits. And we have to cover our box as well. So I'm going to do the box with this. I'm doing that because I put too much on there. It's better to do it with the glove because it doesn't stick to the glove as it does to your fingers. And I'm not worried about this getting unevenly right now because I'm going to add some more colors. So I don't have to be fussy. This needs more down here. We've never worked with this wax. It's really fun to work with. My dog vouches for it. I'll make sure I get into the corners here as well, especially where I've glued it. Okay, let me get another wipe. Now I'm going to come in with some darker colors. I think I'll come in with this. I don't like that. Come in with this. Really gives it a metal look, doesn't it? And they sell these waxes in all different colors. Okay, now I'm ready to go in and add just a touch of purple. Put some on the flowers, just a little bit here and there. Okay. I think one more up here. I think that does it. So, whoops, I had some on my hand. Okay, that's our box, and that's the end of this part. Really have to wait until this dries. That's the end of this part, and next we'll work on our 6 journals that go into the box. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Bye.